Wonderful.
We're live and recording.
I'm
Hi,
excited to
everyone.
see everyone come in.
I know the participants are entering. Hello, everyone. Good evening, good afternoon, wherever you are. Thank you so much for joining us. My name is Amanda Giddon, and I lead community at Monument. And I am thrilled to be joined here today by Alyson Stoner, artist, author, and co-founder of Movement Genius, for this very special session on managing stress through movement. And if you are new to Monument Live, welcome. Monument is an online platform for anyone looking to change their relationship with alcohol. And we connect our members to specialized therapy, physician care, community support, and live events like this one. And tonight we're going to talk about the very important topic of managing stress throughout, either a recovery journey or just day-to-day stress, no matter what you're navigating. So again, I am very happy to be joined here by Alyson, co-founder of Movement Genius. And Alyson, I would love for you to intro yourself and share a little bit more about what this means to you.
Sure. I see some familiar faces and names from our community. Also delighted to meet new people. I'm Alyson. I use she or they pronouns. Just whatever you say, please say it with love. And I am, as mentioned, the founder of Movement Genius. It's a subscription platform that creates mental health tools and stress relief techniques that you can use anytime, anywhere. And I myself really feel near and dear to this class because I have had my own recovery journey. And it's been about 10 years since I first chose recovery. And I remember when minutes felt like an eternity, and all of the unlearning that I got to do in terms of thought patterns, behavioral patterns, relational patterns, and just how deeply embodied that transformation is. And for me, one of the biggest aha moments in my recovery journey was recognizing that my mental health and everything going on up here was also connected to my body storing that stress and experiencing the urges and all of the different things that go into a day. So when I started using mind and body tools, that's when I felt more equipped. So today, I'm going to share a couple of the stress relief techniques, and I'm an open book, so we'll also have a Q&A, and you can ask any questions. I can do my best to answer. And then we'll also have some just fun movements that incorporate some affirmations as well, which to me help you reprogram both your mind and your body at the same time. Very convenient.
Amazing. I'm very excited for those as well. And just a quick reminder for everyone, as Alyson mentioned, we'll do a Q&A at the end. So feel free to raise your hand or write in the chat. And I also just wanted to make a note, we are recording this session, which is why only Alyson will be on camera during the session to respect everyone's privacy. So we can circulate this to you all after the fact, and you can watch it back whenever you'd like. And Alyson, you talked about, the mind-body connection and what that's meant for you in your journey. And, at Monument, we really advocate for people looking at all of the dimensions of their health and wellness when changing their relationship with alcohol, because there are so many influences, on how we move through the world. So I'd love to hear a little bit more about what that's meant for you on your journey and how you started to kind of check in with both your mind and your body.
Yeah, that's a great question. So my personal journey, at some point, I just felt so stuck in the same patterns. And then at the same time, I felt disconnected from myself. And so my mind would be telling one story, my body would be feeling another way. And it almost felt like I was a victim in my own skin, or I was a foreigner in my own body, or it was like an enemy instead of a helpful relationship. I felt like I was working against my own well-being. And so when I started learning some of these, ways that movement in particular can help you process and release and regulate your state of being, it started to give this sense of agency over my well-being again. And I felt like I'm in the driver's seat finally, and I can make a conscious decision, and I can use this tool, and there's actually going to be a felt difference immediately and long term. And I think that was so empowering. And really, that's at the core of whatever I want to offer the world. I really want people to feel like they can reclaim that sense of agency over their health and well-being. So whatever you're going through, you feel like I got this,
Mhm.
or okay, this is difficult, and I know what to do in these moments that work, well for my unique circumstance and personality. I think it's super important to acknowledge that us has a very different embodiment. So, and we all have very different lived experiences. So, this whole concept of wellness and recovery is not one size fits all, and there's no like singular destination. And for me, when we talk about rebuilding that mind body connection, that really allows you to start listening to what is my personal journey here? How can I start to rebuild trust with myself so that I can show up in the world in, healthful ways? So really it's about honoring wherever you are in your journey, and everything we do today. Nothing I say is a demand. It's always an invitation. You're always able to say, yeah, I'm down, or like, I'm feeling that, which I think is just a huge part of recovery, is knowing, like, I'm making this decision. This is what I want to do right now. I don't want to do that. That's not good for me. That is helpful for me. And then, like, really feeling that sense of, ownership and autonomy over your recovery.
Yeah, definitely. And I think, we talk about a lot of meeting people where they are and meeting ourselves where we are. And a big part of that is also kind of taking steps at our own pace and at our own size. And, small steps can amount to really incredible progress. Um, so I think, talking about building a movement practice, I'll speak for myself. Like I sometimes do not prioritize that in my own life. So for someone who's starting small and potentially with just a few minutes a day, we're going to obviously go through this awesome workshop, but how do you suggest getting started?
Yeah, so it's a great question. A lot of times when we think of movement, we assume that it has to mean strenuous activity, and
Mhm.
like we got to break a sweat, or we sort of hear the voices of diet and fitness culture. And really, if we broaden that definition of movement, this could be as simple and brief as taking a moment to notice that, "Oh, I'm feeling really anxious right now and almost frozen in my own body. I think I need to take a moment to just kind of shake and wiggle and release some of that stress." It could be as simple as, you know, placing your, crossing your arms and just tapping back and forth to help yourself ground into your body if you feel like you're kind of floating away. Like, it really can be subtle. It can also be things that other people can't even tell you're doing, right?
Mhm.
Like, oh, right now I know that I'm inhaling for 4 counts and exhaling for 7, and that's helping calm down my body, but you just think we're in a work meeting. So, I really want to encourage people to recognize, like, this. Yes, sometimes we're like, you can start small, but when I say movement, I truly mean if you have a body, we're always technically moving. If your heart is beating, you are in motion. So you can truly be wherever you are and ask yourself, like, what's my capacity right now? And if it
Mhm.
feels like, I only have 1 minute, why not do something for 1 minute, enjoy the benefit of it, and then release the pressure? Like, so what if you don't do it tomorrow or the next day or the day after that? This is, we're in the long game here. Like, if I fall off, I used to feel like days would go by and I was just like, I failed. I'm never going to get back on track again, until something clicked where I was like, wait a second. I'm on my own side, and like no one's criticizing me or judging me the way I'm judging myself. Truly, like, why not just do the thing that you genuinely actually do want? You want to feel better. This is something that can help with that. And focus on feeling pulled by that sense of inspiration as opposed to pushed from behind. Like, really connect to the vision that you have for your future and say, oh, okay, like this is actually something I get to enjoy along the way. Like, nowhere in this class am I going to be like, no pain, no gain. Like, this is the opposite. We've done plenty of that. We know how to do that in our culture. Like, let's actually say, what would feel really good right now while I'm in this community and environment and I can reconnect with myself. And for some of us today, that might be like, I have so much energy, I just want to get it out. And for others, you might be like, oh, she is tiring me already. I just want to close my eyes. And I would say, enjoy every second of that shut eye.
Amazing. Well, we'll see what that looks like for everyone and how everyone feels. And why don't we get into it? So Alyson, I'm going
Sounds good.
to turn it over to you and I'm going to go off camera here. So thank you so much and take it away.
Awesome. Yeah. So, just so everyone knows what to expect, I will be starting with a simple full body warm up. And instead of just moving like you might do at a gym class, it's going to be more focused on checking in with what's going on inside. Like, this, you're holding some tension in certain areas, or maybe there's just kind of some emotions from the day. So, really allowing this warm up to help us also warm in to ourselves. And of course, be curious. Like, this is, there's no judgment in space. If you want to keep your camera on or off, it's totally up to you. Always move at your pace. And you can do all of this seated or standing. So, probably stand for some of it, but it's totally up to you. So, after the warm up, I will then do, it's about, I don't know, let's say 17 minutes of more traditional movement. And at the same time, I'm going to be calling out some affirmations. Now, affirmations for some of us might seem a little hokey, or I might say something and you think, that just doesn't feel true at all for me. And the reason that I'm incorporating affirmations is because it gives us a chance to check in with that self tape that's always playing. And a lot of times have a more critical voice or negative set of beliefs. It can add to the challenges we're already experiencing. So when you hear the affirmations, you can either repeat them out loud or just listen and absorb them. And if you notice some doubt or resistance, like, honor that. Say, oh, isn't that interesting that I find that one hard to believe? It's just helpful information. And instead of trying to override what you're feeling, something that's been helpful for me with affirmations is just to imagine that what I'm currently thinking exists here, and I'm just introducing another possibility. I don't have to adopt it, I'm just playing the possibility. And over time, I might realize that I used to think this was true, but it was actually just familiar and habitual. Doesn't mean it was accurate, it was just a habit. And this gives you a chance to free yourself from some of those thought patterns. So we'll do that while we're doing different movements. And then after, if there's time, we can do some of those stress relief techniques that you can use in any of those really like stressful moments. And then we can chat. So I'm going to play a little music. And if you want to stand, I invite you to do that. And if you're seated and it's available to you, if you want to come to the front of your seat and widen your stance, whatever position helps you feel most centered and strong. So I will get up here. Again, take breaks whenever. And if you find that you're like, I just want to sit through this, please, that's totally okay. So I'll start by just having us feel our feet connected to the ground. And you might want to alternate rolling onto the balls of your feet and then rolling back onto your heels. Just going back and forth and trying to feel every single inch connecting to the floor or your footrest, whatever is underneath you. And now we'll start to move towards the outsides of our feet and then roll inward. So we're just rolling all around on the surface area of our feet. And I'll start to notice the sensations in your feet as you do this. Really feel which parts are connecting to the surface. You can go at whatever pace feels good right now. And now I invite you to bring your attention to your hands. So go ahead and extend your palms out wide. And we're going to slowly curl in our fingers, feeling this motion, totally focused on our hands until we have 2 fists. And when you get to the fists, give it a nice squeeze, almost like all the energy from today is in your hands right now. And then slowly unravel, feeling your hands. Let's do that 2 more times. This time, let's add our breath. So inhale and begin to curl inward. Hold for a moment and squeeze. And now exhale and uncurl your hands, spreading out your fingers nice and wide, bringing your focus directly to both hands. Last time, inhale, begin to curl. Give it a nice squeeze. And exhale, release. Allow yourself to just do some wrist rolls, maybe even some ankle rolls, whatever direction feels good. Noticing this motion from the inside out. Just dropping into the present here. Whatever the pace of your day has been, letting this be a chance to check in, reset, refresh. And now let's bring our attention to our neck. And we're just gonna gently, as you probably would in any kind of stretch class, lean and tilt to one side, and then create a half circle going down and around the other side. Now, for a lot of us, we carry a lot of tension in our necks and shoulders. So during this time, see if you can notice, do I feel areas that are tight? And just rotate back and forth nice and slowly. Letting your breath soften. Maybe even letting your eyes soften, relaxing your face. Beginning to release your jaw. Nice. And now looking side to side. If you notice a space that feels really tight, you can actually take a hand and massage into that area. Almost like you're playing piano on your neck. Just noticing whatever's there, no judgment. Nice. And now let's do a couple shoulder rolls. And to make this just a little bit of a brain teaser, see if you can rotate one shoulder one direction and then the other shoulder the other way. This is just a fun way of helping ourselves connect to our bodies because we've got to pay a little bit more attention. And if you have to start over, all good. Just rolling both directions. And if you want switching, sometimes I get really turned around. Which way was I going? There we go. Again, feeling this motion from the inside out. Letting those circles be as small or as big as you want. Deepening your breath. And now moving into our middle body. So a lot of times during the day, this becomes really stiff. So we're gonna inhale and open our chest and expand forward. And then we're gonna exhale and push our rib cage to one side. Then we're gonna inhale and contract. And then exhale and push to the other side. So let's do those 4 points in your own speed a couple of times. Inhale forward, exhale side, inhale back, exhale side. Once you've gotten the hang of this feeling and this motion, if you want, you can start to smooth it out. So it's as if your rib cage is rotating in a circle. That allows that spine to warm up. And if you're seated and you want to use your arms to support you a bit here, definitely do so. One more rotation this direction, and then we'll slow it down again for the 4 points going the other way. Inhale, open. Exhale, push to the other side. Inhale, contract. Exhale, go to the other side. Get those 4 points comfortable and familiar, and then smooth it out into a nice soothing circle for that middle body. If you can let your body soften just a little bit more right now. All right, now let's focus on our hips for a moment. So if you're seated, imagine that your hips are connected to an axis, like a globe is spinning on it, and we're just gonna tilt our hips forward, to the sides, and back, right? So we're just rotating in a circle the same way we did with our ribs. We're just rotating while we sit. Your motion might be really small. That's totally normal and okay. Just check in with what's going on in your hips. If you're standing and you want to increase the size of the circles, you can allow those hips to trace larger circles. So play with this motion for a couple of moments on your own, going any direction, tilting, circling, and letting your middle body soften and become a little bit more mobile. Whew, I lost my balance. You might find that other parts of your body naturally kind of move and counterbalance. Just let it. Let your body move in a way that feels really good right now. One deep breath. And now let's wake up that lower body. So if you are seated and it's available to you, we're going to reach down to our legs and we will either pull the leg up towards you or pull your body towards your leg, whatever feels like a better stretch. So you can alternate between sides, pulling each leg. And if you're standing, we're just gonna lunge into our legs side to side. So feel that connection to the ground that we started with. And just gently lean into small lunges. Again, if you're seated, just pull the legs towards you or pull your body towards your lower body. And let's reconnect with the sensation. Can you feel which muscles are working as you move? Which areas of your body are stable? Which areas are in motion? Where do you feel most relaxed in this area of your body? Lean into that relaxation and let the rest of your body fall into that same level of calm. Let's take 2 more deep breaths here. Last one. Okay, so slowly bring yourself to a more still position or just a gentle sway if you want to keep moving. We're going to take a moment to just check in with ourselves. If you want, you can close your eyes here. And just notice what it's like to be a little bit more connected to your body. What comes up for you today in this moment? Maybe some thoughts or emotions. There's no right or wrong. Let's just check in. What do you notice in your body at the moment? I'm finding that I'm a little jittery in my chest, but I also feel kind of relaxed at the same time. So just notice with curiosity. That way we're a little bit more aware of what we're bringing into this experience, right? So it's just helpful information. So let's get into this affirmation movement sequence. It's going to be 3 rounds of 5 gentle movements. And again, you can do it seated or standing. So if you want to switch right now, go ahead and do it. Grab water whenever you need, and you set the pace. If you want to stretch, do that. If you want it to be really intense, go for it. I'll probably be on the milder side today. So let me make sure I pull everything up. Okay, the first motion is called pulling the cord. So we're going to extend our arms above our bodies, and I don't know if you can see my hands, but I'm just going to pretend as if I'm reaching for a cord and pulling it towards me on one arm, and then I alternate. So I pull the cord on the other side, and just go back and forth until you find the rhythm and the pace that feels good for you. You might want to use this as a way to stretch that side body and really lean into it, or reach really high, whatever feels good. And now while we do this, I'm going to start saying the affirmations. So feel free to repeat them or just listen and absorb as we pull the cord. I can start where I am. My purpose is clear even when the details are uncertain. It's okay if I don't know, I can figure it out. I choose to adapt in ways that enhance my health. I embrace accountability. I set myself up with the right structure to succeed. Last couple of reaches here, moving into the next motion. It's going to be a scoop. So if you're seated, we're going to lean both directions and take one arm and scoop down, really reaching into it, and then bring it through the center and go the other way. So we're leaning and scooping, really feeling that whole body stretch. If you're standing and you want to add the legs, you can flex the toes and really lean forward and get a nice hamstring stretch as you scoop. And just alternating to the other side. Set your pace, fast or slow, and stay connected to your body and your breath here. Finding that rhythm, no judgment. And Repeat after me. I'm flexible with change. I use my voice to state my needs. I'm willing to do this deep work, and it always pays off. Keep it up, keep it up. Continuing to scoop. I am brave enough to be honest with myself. When previous fears return, I remember that I've made it this far. One more scoop in your own time, and we'll settle in again. This third movement is called the wave. So we're going to raise our arms up again and almost allow our back to arch a bit. And then we're going to let our arms cascade down towards the ground. And if you're seated, you'll fold forward. If you're standing, fold as low as you want. And then roll up one vertebrae at a time. So we create this continuous wave motion. Nice and gentle, reaching up, almost arching a little bit, and then folding down and rolling up. Nice. Repeat after me. I acknowledge my daily victories, both big and small. I have a growth mindset. I can handle complex situations. Let's say that one more time. I can handle complex situations. I feel comfortable and whole within myself. 2 more, breathing deeply, getting a nice stretch here. Last one. Great. This fourth motion, I call it the corkscrew and lunge. So I'm gonna show you seated first. And it'll be the same standing, just, obviously a different starting position. So go ahead and twist your body, rotate to one side, and reach towards the back of your chair or the room, and allow this to twist your middle body. And if you want to add a little bit more, let your legs fall into a bit of a lunge. And then we'll hold that for a moment, and then return center and twist to the other way, adding the lunge if you want. Now, if you're standing, of course, that will just mean twisting, and if you want, pivoting and going into a lunge. Again, find the rhythm and the flow that feels good for you right now. And let's keep moving with those affirmations. Remember, you're in charge here. You can just pause and chill out if that's what you want. Repeat after me. I focus my energy towards positive goals. I love being me. I'm kind with myself. I'm dependable and I'm trustworthy. Noticing how it is to say these things, to claim these things. My values and my actions are aligned. Last rotation, whatever side you're on. Coming back to center, if you want, you kind of shake it out a little bit. We have one more motion, and then you know all of the movements, and we'll just repeat them. It'll get even simpler. This final movement is knee huggers. So similar to the warm-up, if you were seated, you're going to go ahead and reach down and pull your leg towards you. Now, if this isn't available or comfortable, you can also bring a leg across your body in a figure 4 stretch, either at your knee or your ankle, and you can bend forward. Of course, hold on to something if you want support. And so I'm gonna do the knee huggers, but totally up to you which one feels good today. So find that flow, reconnect with your body, deep breath. Repeat after me. Making time to move throughout my day is so important. Making time to rest throughout my day is equally as important. I enjoy making decisions that improve my health. Keep it up. I prefer foods that nourish my body. I'm clear about who I am and who I want to be. I continue to develop and hone my skills. I create warm and trusting relationships. Last couple of knee hugs on each side. Connecting with your breath. And now bringing it to center again. Let's check in. You've just done one full round. So we're going to repeat that cycle, and it's going to be a little bit faster, or I should say shorter rounds. So we're gonna move through each thing and ask yourself, how do I wanna approach this? Do I feel like I can give a little more? Do I feel like I wanna relax a bit more? Really notice and follow what feels really helpful. So going to that first motion, pulling the cord, we reach our arms high to the sky, and we begin to pull down at whatever speed feels really good. I'm gonna add some energy and some heat to this one. Repeat after me. I recognize which people see me authentically. When things don't go as planned, I feel competent at making adjustments. I have space to care about others' emotions and well-being. I release the habits that create chaos in my life. Moving into the scoop, so scooping with your arms and leaning to each side. Finding that rhythm and that stretch. Stay connected to your breath, to the inside of your body. Repeat after me. I gravitate towards peace. I'm cultivating real well-being. I quickly recover from disappointments. Keep it up, scooping side to side. I pay attention to the lessons I can learn from experiences. I make time to learn about myself. Moving into the wave, letting your body float up and then fall forward and roll back up. Nice. Taking breaks whenever you want. Repeat after me. My life is valuable and worthwhile. Let's say that again. My life is valuable and worthwhile. I value how I'm feeling and what my feelings are trying to tell me. I'm so proud of myself. Let's try that one again and notice whatever comes up. I'm so proud of myself. Nice. Moving into the corkscrew twist and lunge. Twisting to a side and lunging with your legs if you'd like. Repeat after me. I am worthy and deserving of the highest good. I release the burdens of guilt, shame, and self-criticism. Just let those fall right off your body as you say that. I release the burdens of guilt, shame, and self-criticism. Continuing to move side to side. And now going into our last move, knee huggers or figure 4 stretch. Repeat after me. I toss out any hints of self-sabotage. Just let them go. I embrace the story that things can work out for me. I have the courage to admit mistakes. I'm interested in being my best and making things right. Wonderful. Last round. Check in with yourself. Do you want to add more intensity? Take it down a notch. Up to you. Just let this final round feel like you're connecting the most you have yet today with your body and how you're feeling right now. So starting with pulling the cord, reaching up and pulling down. Repeat after me. I grow through shortcomings, accidents, and failures. I'm building trust and a strong foundation right now. Breathing deeply. I have help and support on the journey. Going into scoops, scooping side to side, reaching as far as your body allows today. Repeat after me. I am claiming my power. I breathe through intense energy. Nice. A couple more. Keep it up. Scooping side to side. I am at ease and confident in my skin. That's my personal favorite, so I'm going to say it one more time. I am at ease and confident in my skin. Moving into the wave. Up, folding forward, and then rolling up. Repeat after me. Setting boundaries for myself is healthy and respectable. No is a complete sentence. My life improves as I heal and mature. Moving into twists and lunge, side to side. Just 2 more movements left. So really check in with your body if there's an area that still feels tight. How can these motions help you loosen up just a little bit more? Relaxing your neck, your face. Repeating after me. I release stress in a healthy way. Let's say that one a couple more times. I release stress in a healthy way. I'm releasing stress right now in a healthy way. Stress is a temporary state that I can change. Great. Last move, knee huggers, or whatever you want to do for the final minute. Any stretch that feels good. Keep it up. My body knows the way home to balance. My body is safe to relax. Let's take 3 deep breaths. And when you finish that 3rd breath, let your body relax into some stillness. When you make it there, let's take a brief beat again to check in. I'm gonna stop talking here for a moment. And I just invite you to notice what you're feeling, where you're feeling it, and how you're feeling. Whatever comes up, just invite it with curiosity. Give you some space and time to do that now. No right or wrong ways of responding or feeling right now. What is it like to be a little bit more connected with yourself? And when you're ready, you can start to let your attention come back into the room and see me on the screen or hear my voice. And I'm going to move right away into showing you 3 really quick and simple stress relief techniques that you can use whenever you're feeling like this is just a little too much. So the first one is, if you are wanting to ground into the moment, you can always focus your attention on the floor and the connection to it, or you can trace your hand and inhale as you trace up the finger and exhale as you trace lower. So just while we're hanging out here, go ahead and feel what that's like to connect to your body and breathe into the moment. As you practice this, it helps us become familiar in the future so that we feel like we can actually use the skill and feel the benefits of it. Just inhaling as you trace up, exhaling as you trace down. Memorizing this feeling of relaxation so that you can revisit it. And wherever you are, even if you've got more fingers left, just go ahead and finish that finger. And then we'll move right into the next one. This next one is called progressive muscle relaxation. And interestingly, sometimes when you're feeling tense, the hardest thing to do is relax. So first, you can actually lean into the tension and give an area of your body a squeeze. Hold it for like 8 seconds or so. And then from 100 to 0, totally release. So you can do this one body part at a time, especially if you're unwinding at night. That can be a helpful way to get some deep rest. But right now, let's just try tensing our full body all at once and feeling that shift to relaxation. Let's do it 3 times. So inhale and squeeze everything as tightly as you can. Hold it. Notice how tension feels in your body, the energy that it takes to hold on. And now from 100 to 0, relax in 3, 2, 1. Everything is effortless. Do that 2 more times. Inhale and squeeze and hold. Squeeze and hold. Hold tightly. Exhale and release totally. Even more relaxed than the first time. Notice the sensations. You might even get a little dizzy for a second. Let's do it 1 more time. Inhale and squeeze. And everything you've been holding on to today, this week, this month, your whole life, let it out with this exhale and relax. Nice. Now moving into the final stress relief technique. The beautiful thing is that your body is super intelligent and has built-in ways to bring yourself to a calmer state. And one of them is when you feel that stress response activated, a lot of times we freeze and clench. And like I shared at the beginning of class, sometimes just letting yourself wiggle and shake it out will actually scientifically help release that extra adrenaline and cortisol. It'll help loosen up the tightness because you can't hold on when you're shaking and wiggling. And it'll also complete the threat response cycle so you can feel that sense of calmness again. So go ahead, to whatever degree feels helpful right now for you. No one's watching or judging. Let your body head to toe begin to shake or wiggle and loosen up every area. And just imagine the stress literally rolling off, or I should say figuratively, rolling off your body. Feeling more and more limber. Whatever you've been holding on to, let this be a chance to just let go. Let's do this for 5 more seconds. 3, 2, 1. Awesome. Go ahead and take a moment for yourself. If you want to grab some water or use the restroom or grab a snack, we're going to come back to the session and we can have a little Q&A. And if you liked any of these stress relief techniques or affirmation movements, we'll make sure you can get set up on Movement Genius and you can try all the classes whenever it fits into your day. So go ahead and start to come in. And whatever headspace you're in right now, you can stay in that wavelength. Get comfortable. Maybe take a moment for yourself and just reflect on how this experience has been, if it's weird, if it's helpful, if it's, challenging. Whatever comes up for you that's honest is totally valid. It is super warm where I am right now. I'm sweating. Okay. So first I want to check in if you feel comfortable in the chat sharing. I'd just like to hear, how are you feeling? How was this experience? And I'm not easily offended. You can say, give it to me exactly as it is. Sometimes it can be a little unusual, or we might feel like we've never really done movement in that way. That's totally normal. I see someone sharing it's their first time doing something like this. And oh, yes, I'm seeing that you deal with anxiety. I also have a diagnosis with an anxiety disorder, and these kinds of tools have been so interesting, such a helpful way to process and release or express some of that built up energy. I see some people felt emotional and started crying, which is also really common and normal. I hope you're allowing yourself to be very soothing and gentle. And I love that you said, I am proud of myself. That's such a simple but profound statement. And it took me a while to say it and actually believe it. I said that one for probably a couple of years before it really clicked. And now, after I take a break during a busy day, I'll actually say, hey, good job, Al. I'm proud of you. It feels really good. I see you feel less weird and high energy and irritable for days. Yeah, sometimes it's just pent up, right? And we just need a chance to let it out. And on our site we have tons of different options. If you feel creative and you want to be a little bit more free flowing with it, you can do that. Or sometimes it's just like we tried some of those stress relief techniques. So I hope that that's helpful. I see feeling a lot of relief. Loved incorporating the affirmations into movement. Awesome, I'm so glad. And I'm gonna send you this list of affirmations. So if any stood out to you, we'll follow up in an email, and you can read these whenever you want, whatever is most helpful. I see it felt liberating, that it didn't have to be hardcore movement. Oh my gosh, yes. Let's let go of that no pain, no gain mentality. And it's okay to just say, I'm just gonna coast through this today. I love that. Felt like a yo-yo the last couple of weeks. Yeah, highs and lows, and this is a wonderful way to center. I'm so glad. Always lovely to have you and to reconvene. So I'm seeing a question. How do we find out how to sign up for different options for movement? So we'll make sure that you can sign up on Movement Genius. We've got 30 days free where you can try all the videos. We have videos that are 3 minutes all the way up to 40 minutes, seated, standing, and yeah, there's moving meditations. There's a whole thing you can do if you're stuck at your desk, sitting for long periods. Also, we have Bodyful Yoga, which if you've ever felt intimidated or not interested by standard Western ways of doing yoga, where you're trying to do these poses that are really intense, Natalia on our platform is so wonderful, and it's just really comforting and a really gentle experience to unwind and connect. And I'm glad this was a good way to end your day. Good. And I would also love to open it up to any questions. I know we're close on time, but if there are any questions, I'd love to answer a few. Make sure you feel like you're getting everything out of this that you can. I see some of you are living with arthritis and ADHD, and yes, I want you to know that a lot of our members in our community with Movement Genius are living with a whole variety of different experiences on a daily basis, and we all have been able to experience the benefits from these kinds of tools. Because the beautiful thing is, it's about you strengthening your mind-body connection. So you don't need any equipment, You don't need a fancy retreat. You can really just be where you are and let the wisdom of your own system, that rhymes, almost, help you feel better. And that to me is super empowering. So I see a question that says, how are cravings dealt with through movement? So that's a great question. So a couple of things come to mind. For me, I'll speak from my experience. Cravings were often something that when it was in the height of that urge, I really needed a replacement distraction that like fully enrolled me into a different activity. And so movement is going to be an option that you can add. You can put on a favorite song or, whatever kind of movement is helpful. And now from a science standpoint, a lot of times when we try to tackle the challenge of a craving, if we start by just trying to tell ourselves to behave a certain way or think a certain thing, we're actually going out of order with our evolutionary design. So what's going on in your system at that moment is that your body is activated. It's that, let's just for ease call it that survival response, and it's turned on, and there's some hypervigilance or extra energy or discomfort. And we actually have to learn first how to communicate in a way that your body will feel safe and able to come down from that wave. And then it creates that space to actually more clearly address the situation rationally. So a lot of times we do that in the opposite order, and movement is actually a really helpful way to just work with that initial energy of the craving and process it, express it, release it. If you shake for 10 minutes or something like that, it can really move some of that energy through your system and then create a little bit more of a grounded space to now address what's going on. So I hope that that's helpful. There are tons of other ways that movement can be beneficial. A lot of times also just the sheer benefits physiologically of staying in motion throughout the day will actually decrease the frequency of cravings or urges or symptoms of anxiety, which contribute to that cycle. So some of it is helpful in the moment, and then other aspects of it is also a preventative tool to really change that process over time. And of course, you get to decide what kind of movement really feels good. So if in your mind you're like, I would never choose to work out when I'm feeling a craving, then that's not your tool. Your tool might be, like I said, finding almost like a fidgety movement habit. You can literally, there's science behind clapping or laughing, even if it's fake at first. All of these things with the body legitimately can change what's going on physiologically. So I see a question. What brought you this focus on centering yourself and Movement Genius? Was there a specific event, or was this something that stemmed from recovery? So for me, I started working with a therapist in recovery, and I was really fortunate that she was a somatic psychotherapist. So she recognized this soma, which loosely refers to body, how important that was to bring that into recovery. And I will be completely transparent. I was so frozen and overwhelmed at the same time that it actually took me years with her to feel like I could even feel anything and manage it. So definitely only deal with whatever you feel like you have capacity for. Like, there's no reason we want to push ourselves to try and manage more, because it just adds to that sense of overwhelm. So it took me a really long time, and I felt like embarrassed that I couldn't feel. I felt angry, but I couldn't actually sense the anger. She'd ask, like, where do you feel this in your body? And I'd be like, I don't know. And so, I knew that she was onto something. I just really had to be patient. And once I started building that capacity to sit with discomfort, I noticed that I was dealing with fewer urges. And then when I had the urges, they didn't seem like mountains anymore. They actually seemed more just like, oh, okay, that's a helpful signal. I know you. And I've now practiced moving through you, so I can do this. And I started building a sense of competence and confidence. But of course, as you know, like, this is a process. It's totally a process. But I invite you to remind yourself that you get to be pulled forward towards something that you want for yourself. And it doesn't have to feel like you're being pushed from behind. Like, this is an invitation that you have to literally change your life. And when I tell you every aspect of my life has improved, I genuinely mean it. My relationships, my career of confidence, and even choosing to build a company, I would not have been able to manage the anxiety and the unknown that comes with running a company if I hadn't started practicing these tools myself in recovery. So I'm so thankful to see all of you choosing the possibility of recovery in your life. It's like you get your life back. You get to embody a new story every day in your thoughts and in how you take up space and move through the world. I see. Oh, good, awesome. Maybe, and this question may be too personal. How did you deal with your diagnosis and life in general? Because it feels like everyone keeps on moving on with their lives, and I'm stuck. It's like a very big circle that I cannot part ways from it. Well, first, I appreciate you letting me know where you are currently, and I will say there was actually a period for me where I did feel stuck. So I think that's a normal thing to be experiencing. It doesn't make it any easier, or it doesn't maybe sound hopeful for me to say that it's normal. Let me think about what happened to create a shift when I felt stuck. So there was something really liberating at first about having a name for things. Then I realized that I was starting to glue myself to that label, and I was internalizing it as if it was a permanent identity marker. And in reality, my experience with anxiety was a response to a whole bunch of experiences and events and habits and all of that stuff. But I remembered, if all of these formed from scratch at once upon a time, it actually means some of them don't have to be permanent. They may be present, but I can learn to manage them differently, to experience and view them differently. And so when I got the diagnosis at first, it was like, yes, I've got language for it. And then I glued myself to that language and felt stuck. And eventually I realized I'm a person who's constantly in progress, whether or not I even want to be. We're always going to be changing. Life unfolds and we're shaped by all of these different experiences. So inevitably, you actually, unless you glue yourself somewhere, you will eventually shift. That is not permanent. An affirmation that I used to say all the time is now is not forever. Now is not forever. And that really opened up my mind to the possibility that, you know, my life could be different. I didn't know how, I didn't know when, but I could actually believe that life could be different. So I hope that's helpful. Would these techniques work with children? My daughter is 4 and we're both neurodivergent, so stress runs high and so does frustration. Yes. So the beautiful thing is that a lot of these techniques are utilized by therapists who work with children, teachers who work with children. Of course, only ever try things at a manageable pace, constantly check in with each other. But something like shaking and learning that you can release stress is a wonderful thing that your daughter might actually naturally already do. So really building that confidence with yourselves and encouraging each other to build that mind-body connection, I think can be just truly like a beautiful gift I wish I had from my parents. That kind of conscious embodiment was not modeled in my household, and it probably would have made a tremendous difference to be able to see a parent say, like, yeah, sometimes it's a lot being in this mind and in this body. Like, I need to take a moment for myself. What should we try today? And then checking in the process and being like, was that helpful? Nah, I think need a little more. Or nah, that didn't work today. That kind of empowerment, I think, is like invaluable. I see turning 30 as well. You're completely right. Now is not forever. Always changing, always trying to adapt to that change in the best ways. Yeah. So I know I'm like in the light now. Let that be a metaphor. Here, I'll stand up. If there are any other questions, feel free to follow up in an email or something. But again, I'm going to be sending the affirmations. I'm also going to send some journal prompts if that's something you're interested in, just to help you kind of reflect on the experience. We'll also make sure you get the link to try Movement Genius, and it goes straight to us. So like, if you have questions, let us know how we can be supportive. Thank you again for coming, and I will throw it back over to Amanda.
Thank you so much, Alyson. I needed that more than I knew, and clearly from the shares of our community, everyone really appreciates you. So thank you so much for being here. This was an amazing session. Hopefully we can, do more together as Monument and Movement Genius, and everyone in the Monument community know that we will be sharing all of the links and tools that Alyson referenced, and we encourage you to sign up for the Movement Genius free trial ASAP if you haven't already. And I also we didn't really touch upon how movement is a form of meditation. I had questions, but I know there's been so many questions. And, we have a kind of guided meditation group at Monument, and I just see this as such a beautiful kind of complement to each other. So I'm just glad that we got to all meet each other, Movement Genius community, Monument community, and hopefully this is just the beginning. Who else? You're on mute.
I'll say really, really quickly, a moving meditation that you can do even with your group if you want. Sometimes the meditation is a body scan and you check in with each area of your body. Newsflash, there's no reason that you couldn't move that area of your body and stretch it out as you're scanning. So that's a simple, mindful, present way that you can do that meditative experience, and then also have the added benefit of releasing some tension, just feeling a little bit more connected in your body. It's a nice way to wake up in the morning, wind down. Sometimes when I don't want to sit still, I do that.
I love that. And I've never thought of that. So thank you.
Right?
Yeah. Well, everyone, wishing you a peaceful evening. Allison, I love your sunshine. It's not too late there yet. And until next time. So thank you so much.
Good. Thank you, everyone. Sending lots of love.
Bye.